Okay, so good evening from India, and obviously good afternoon, good morning for other countries. And once again, we welcome you on behalf of Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development and National Institute of Technology, Indonesia, Malang, Indonesia. And this is our second day of 1 month short duration course on artificial intelligence for rural development and agriculture. As we have mentioned that we are going to cover different aspects related to artificial intelligence as well as its application to rural development. As rural development is multidimensional, it has very vast area starting from health, education, and all other things. Today we have two sessions, and the first session will take care by Dr. Joyanta Paul, and another will be taken care by one of our another colleague from USA. So, as you have already received the program schedule, you know the topic, but let me, even we have shared our uh, detail of our faculties and the resource person. Dr. Jayantapal is currently working as assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology at Tripura University. Same like me, we are working together, and he is in the Department of Information Technology, and I am in the Rural Development Department. And so every day, almost we used to meet and discuss. Both of us join. So we meet in different occasion and discuss a lot regarding how ITs and ICT can be applicable in the rural development. And together we come out with that. So this is one of the outcome that he is with us, and he will share the. So he has served this National Institute of Technology, Agartala, as assistant professor earlier also, almost 2 years, and he has an experience of more than 10 years in teaching and research. His current research interests include the logic synthesis in quantum cellular automata. These are all technical term obviously for the IT professional, and he has published research work in various journal and uh, conferences, and reviewer or numerous distinguished journal and some renowned international conference also. He has also played the role of session chair and technical program and the committee of different conferences. And all the time, obviously, he is the most valued thing is that he is very student friendly and very much accessible. And I am sure that today's topic will be useful for you. These are all case how AI can be helpful to deal with how AI can be applicable to dealing with different aspects of development or rural development or other way. So over to Jayanto, and as he mentioned that he will also one another uh, colleague will be with him. Uh, Jayanto, now floor is with you, Dr. Jayanto.
Yeah, thank you very much for your kind introduction, and uh, to add to it some extra effort also from your side. And I'd like to thank the organizers also, especially Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development and National Institute of Technology, Malang, Indonesia, for organizing such an emerging and important topic, especially for the aspect rural development and agriculture. To add to it, I mean, like this, the topic of this discussion or this program is artificial intelligence for rural development and agriculture. But to add to it, I think there are some aspects also. So as we are to discuss about to stick to this particular topic, we'll be discussing in this area. But if we talk about agriculture, if we talk about irrigation, if we talk about the development of in I mean, IT's infrastructure in rural areas. So here comes the importance of artificial intelligence, importance of machine learning, importance of security, especially cyber security, deep learning, and all those things. If I want to name some technical, or if you want to cite some technical terms. So, along with it is not only that agriculture, irrigation, development, IT infrastructure. Apart from that, as the title suggests in the schedule itself, one of the important aspect, if we see in other direction also, that our I mean, this the topic of this particular presentation is going to be fire forest detection, uh, and for that we have with us Mr. Saurabh Karmakar. He is already working with the forest department of Tripura government, and he is also associated with our department academically. He is having he is a company. He is running a company, and trying to develop the IT infrastructure in various aspects, like be it be it blockchain, be it IT development, or any artificial machine learning, or artificial intelligence or machine learning applications. So, Shorab, I think you are with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for this.
Okay, so I think we can start with the presentation. You may continue, or you may share the screen. Uh,
Okay, sir.
so by the time Shorab share the screens, I'd like to highlight some of the points that we are working on, some areas like how what are the futures, or the what are the future aspects of machine learning in our daily life when you talk about IoT or smart homes. So how the smart homes can be effectively uh, uh, be built up, or how the security can be measured, or how all those things can be make sure. And at the same time, we have worked in in few aspect, like smart irrigation, uh, in the field of agriculture also. And presently we are working with virtual environment or virtual technology at the same time. Saurabh is with us, and we are also working in one of the very important aspect, that as I have mentioned already, the uh, the prediction or the detection of fire for forest. So I would like to hand over to Saurabh to discuss the detail about how we are working, and what are the sensors, and what are the applications going to be, and how it is going to be helpful for the societal aspects. So over to you, Saurabh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this introduction. Respected sir and madam, and Dr. Jayantapal sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share the findings of my research on forest fire. Namaskar to one and all from Tripura, a beautiful state in the northeastern part of India, where over 72% of land covered by forest, and the air remain pure and soil is fertile. However, day by day, our forests are turning into a degraded land and open forest due to various reasons, one of which is forest fire. So, what is forest fire? Forest fire, also known as wildfire, and that are uncontrollable fire that burns vegetation, forest, grassland, and other natural areas. So what are the impact on of forest fire? It environmental damage, destruction of an economic ecosystem, losses of biodiversity, soil degradation, and health hazard, air pollution from smoke, ecosystem economic losses, damage to properties, high firefighting cost. And current challenges are predicting fire early in remote areas, predicting fire spread under changing weather condition. These are the challenges. And what are the reason behind this forest fire? Two reasons are there. One is anthropogenic and second one is natural fire. When a source of fire like naked flame, cigarette smoking, electrical spark, or any other man-made causes, such as fire, may be intentional or accidental. People living near forest often start fire on purpose to grow grass or clear the forest floor to collect non-timber forest produces. This is anthropogenic fire. Natural fire. Some forest fire starts from the natural causes like lightning, rolling storms, friction of dry bamboo, and stamp of tree. Like high temperature and dry condition like low humidity and make it easier to start fires. FSI, Forest Survey of India. Forest Survey of India, every year they have survey uh, and submit the report and publish the report on forest fire. As per their survey, 36% of country forests are in prone fire, with 10% of classified as highly prone. The northeastern region falls under the highly prone category, and Tripura is in the second position of fire cover under extreme prone classes. So in on January 16, 2019, Forest Survey of India has launched one forest fire alert system. This system used to send the real-time fire alert along with the location to respective field officer, and the field officer uh, visit this site and take necessary action and submit the report to the FSI. However, in the last 5 years, 1,108 hectares of forest land in Tripura were destroyed by fire. Then it is showing that the only alert system is not enough to protect our forest. So this study is aimed to explore and analyze the other techniques like forecast forest fire and prevent them effectively. So now AI comes into the picture. The introduction of AI, the role of AI in forest fire monitoring. AI refers to develop a system that capable to performing tasks that require human intelligence such as decision making and pattern recognition. And AI in forest fire, simulates the expert decision making to detect and predict forest fire. Combine the real-time data analyzed with predictive model. The application of AI are fire behavior prediction, risk assessment based on the environmental condition, automated alert to fire department, visual remote sensing data showing the forest fire zone with AI and generated risk map. Introduction to machine learning. Machine learning is the core of AI in forest fire prediction. AI is the subset of and machine learning is the subset of AI that learns from past data to make prediction and decision. Machine learning in forest fire, it uses large data set from satellite like MODIS, VIRS for fire prediction. Model trains into the predictive and probability of fire. Some example of machine learning models are XGBoost and LightGBM. Then application of machine learning, early fire detection using remote sensing data, find for fire prone zones, visual graph or heat map of fire prone area generated from the remote sensing data. So AI and machine learning in forest fire management. How AI and machine learning, I think someone, please show the PPT. The PPT. Sir, is my PPT is visible?
Yes, yes, visible, visible.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
it is visible. Proceed.
Here the PPT is visible. Please, everybody, kindly confirm whether my PPT is visible or not.
It will. Now it is visible.
Okay, okay.
It is true. All
Okay,
this
thank
while
you.
it was wristwatch, right?
So, the AI and machine learning relationship in forest fire. AI uses machine learning algorithm to detect, analyze, and predict fires. Machine learning powers AI system process satellite and sensor data to provide actionable insights. Real world impact. A faster detection and response to the forest fire, and minimization of economic and environmental damage. The flow chart showing the data flow. We have satellite imagery, remote sensing data. That is remote sensing data we have collected from various websites and apply machine learning algorithm and find AI system and send real-time alert. So what is the remote sensing data? Remote sensing is the process of collecting information above Earth's surface without direct physical contact. It uses sensor on satellite, uh, aircraft, drones to detect and measure electromagnetic radiation reflected or emitted from the surface. This technology widely applied in environmental monitoring, disaster management, agriculture, urban planning and resources, exploration, remote sensing enable to observation to large and inaccessible area, providing valuable data for analyzing and decision making. This is our proposed workflow. So we have collect the data from various websites like satellite data, MODIS and VIRS data. In India, FSI portal is there. So we have collected the data from FSI portal. And for temperature and humidity data, we have collected data from LARC power project by NASA. And from MODIS and VIRS website, we collected data, 24-year data we have collected and processed it based on Tripura state. And for Forest Fire Portal, FSI Fire Portal, we have collected data as per Tripura state and processed it and created a single file. After that, in process data, we analyze the data and find the forest fire vulnerability zone and also find the forest fire station, which station is more active in forest fire, and apply machine learning algorithm. And we have applied two algorithms. One is XGBoost and another one is LightGBM. After that, we have collected and temperature data and merge it in our forest fire data and apply both the algorithm XGBoost and LightGBM, and final outcome will come. Forest fire prediction model development. These are the steps. First, we have collected data from MODIS website. Then in India, we have FSI portal. So we have collected from FSI portal. Then temperature and humidity data from NASA LARC power project. After that, we data pre-processing. We filtered the data, VIRS and MODIS data for Tripura coordinates and merge FSI and MODIS data. After that, we have analyzed, identified the forest fire vulnerability zone and determined the forest prone section. After that, we have applied the XGBoost and LightGBM, and after that, we have collected the temperature data from NASA temperature power project and merged into a with fire data. And we reanalyzed the data and reapplied XGBoost and LightGBM and generate the final outcome and predictive and insight. This is the data set collected from the MODIS website and VIRS website. So for MODIS, we have collected 24 years of data. In their website, they have country-wise data available in their website. So we have collected for our country. So in VIRS, 12-year data is available in this website. We have collected year-wise data and merged into a single file. This is the raw data set. After that, we have removed all the data, unnecessary data, and here we can you can see that in Tripura the latitude range is 22° to 24°, and the longitude range is 90 to 92°. So we have sorted this data based on this coordinate and remove this unnecessary data. And in this data set, we have another column is confidence. So data with fire confidence greater than 50% were selected, and less than 50% data were removed from this data set. And this is FSI fire portal data set. Here in this website, state-wise data is available. So we have collected the data from 2012 to 2024, and we have processed it. Here is the latitude and longitude are in degree, minute, second. So we have converted into degree decimal point. And in this data, we consider this data is 100% confidence because in forest fire alert system, they used to send the location of the fire, and our field employee will go that place and do their necessary action and submit the report. This is the report which they have submitted, and we can consider this. This is the 100% confidence data. So we have collected 12 years of data and merged into a single file. And both VIRS and MODIS and Forest FSI portal data we have merged, and this is the final outcome. The data set for Tripura covering 22 to 24° latitude and 90 to 92° longitude was cleared, refined, and divided into a training up to 2020 from 2000 to 2022. We have selected for training data set. For validation data set, we have selected 2020 to 2022. And for testing data set, we consider this 2023 to 2024 data for model validation. Then after analyzing the whole data set, the latitude were rounded into 3 decimal point, and for 10 square kilometer is one precision is 10 square kilometer. Data less than 50% confidence were removed from MODIS and VIRS, and FSI data were included in 100% confidence to create a structured data set. This is the structured data set, and a hexagon grid was created on map to generate a fire risk zone. This is the fire map which already been circulated to forest department. They will take necessary action for prevent the forest fire. After that, we have analyzed and we found that it is observed that forest fire frequency in higher in March and April. Here is the bar graph is showing that 0 represent January, 2 represent February, and 3 represent March, and so on. Here, and 3 and 4 is the highest frequency in forest fire. So we have to identify which session is the most important. So in forest fire, so we can clearly see that February and March is the highest fire frequency, and this is the temperature and humidity data set. We have collected this data set from NASA's LARC power project, This is the Tripura region. We have collected this data, and this is the raw data set. Day-wise, we have collected the data and process it and merge into a single file. And the data set is from 2000 to 2024. After analyzing the data, we found that we analyzed a noticeable trend in the past 5 years from 2019 to 2024, during which the average temperature in the region is increased by approximately 2 degrees centigrade. So, we can clearly see that temperature increases day by day. So, is one of the reason is forest fire. So we have merged both the data set. One is forest fire, on another is weather data set or humidity data set. Both data sets was merged and apply algorithm, machine learning algorithm, and the first one is light GBM algorithm. The model performance for 2024 of light GBM algorithm is AUC, that means area under the curve. The score is 99.25%. And another model we have executed, it is XGBoost. The accuracy of XGBoost is 74.41%. The conclusion is, during the data processing, we identified the forest fire zone and determined which session had the most forest fire occurrence, and various algorithms applied, including light GBM and XGBoost. With the light GBM, we achieved 99.25%. The suggestion for forest fire prevention and management: identified forest fire prone zone, use data analysis and mapping to pinpoint area most vulnerable to fire, and analyze forest prone session, determine the time period with the highest fire occurrence for trend monitoring, deploy more patrolling person, add more people to watch over high risk area to spot and stop the fire quickly, and avoid monoculture plantation. Avoid planting only one type of tree. Grow different kind of plant to lower the chance of fire. Exercise precaution in forest construction. Be careful in road, railway, and building construction in forest area. The social impact in predicting forest fire: life save. Early warning helps to evacuate people and saving life. Reduce property damage. Timely alert protect house and infrastructure. Health protection prevents health issue caused by smoke and air pollution. Community awareness encourage people to take preventive measures and stay prepared. Economic benefits: save cost on firefighting and disaster recovery. And environmental conservation and protect forest, wildlife, and natural resources. Thank you.
Thank you for thanking us.
Yeah, any question or anything from the participant are welcome. Please.
Okay. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
My name is Franco Said Kofi from Ghana. Thank you for your very wonderful lecture. I work in the cocoa sector where we grow basically cocoa, a monocrop, and I think we have been battling fire a lot. A whole hectares of cocoa being destroyed by people who want to hunt for wild animals. So I think it will help us if we apply it here. So I want to find out, in your state, have you been using this to control wildfire? And how is the outcome? And I think recently Los Angeles is battling a lot of fire, and I think this approach can also help them. And have you thought of linking up with maybe the Americans to also use your research in helping them with the IE? Thank you.
Yeah, from this year we will be implementing this project in our state from this year. So after 2-3 years, we can find the result of this project. Thank you.
Yeah, to add to it, actually, our state is very much enriched with rubber plantation as well as bamboo plantation. So, bamboo, I think it is not so much prone to the fire forest, but to protect the rubber plantation, this technique or methodology will help us so that the people, especially from the rural side, will be benefited at a larger scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything, any other questions?
Hello, hello. Sir, I am S. Yogesh. Yogesh, I am calling from Tamil Nadu. Hello.
Yes, sir. Please.
Sir, in our area is a forest area. So many animals are crossing in our railway lines. So that in which way the AI technology it will be useful for forest animals. Sometimes elephants are crossing. So many accidents are occurred every day. That too is very dangerous to uh, humans also, sir. Sometimes level crossing and sometimes non-level crossing areas. Every day the same accidents are occurred. So which way it will be useful for AI technology in uh, forest areas and non-forest areas? Non-forest means in the sense in the human areas, like without level crossing people, like that gangman or something. Uh, I like this, sir. So that I wanted to know about the which way it will be useful for AI technology. I am S. Yogesh from Gandhigram, Tamil Nadu.
Okay, sir. I think the concern that you have raised is very much important and very much emerging also with the help of technology. But our concern or our field of working, particularly whatever we have shown just now, is completely different than that of it. But yes, it can be done. We can impose the thermal cameras so that if there is any animal passing through, and at the same time we can check by means of this image processing that is there a bunch of animals, bunch of any kind of this one. So we can, yeah, obviously generate a lot kind of things. So
Sir,
the technology will be different.
sir, I want to add something. Sir, you can implement the collaring system. In you have to identify one elephant and put collar in it and track their movement. So and collect the data from this GPS reading, and you can analyze the data when where they are moving and the timings. So after analyzing this data, using machine learning, you can say that in that particular time they are moving from here to there. So you can implement this method also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. Thanks to everyone, especially the organizers. I don't know if I'm being heard. I want to say something. Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Good afternoon, the organizers and the presenter. Thank you so much for that presentation. And thanks to everyone that has contributed. My concern is this. I like the technology, but I'm looking at, we say rural development. Is it possible for these people in the rural community to apply this technology, or is it that we're the ones taking it to them? Because it takes a lot for even a learned person to understand artificial intelligence, and not to talk of now taking it down to the people. And so, is there any way we can tailor it down to their level of knowledge, so that even if we, as experts, bring it to them, they can, cooperate, participate in putting the technology to use? Thank you very much.
Yes, of course. First of all, the technology that we are talking about is not completely, which is to be used by the the people of rural areas. And it is, and I think to add to it, I think we had one question in the chat box also. Do the local government and the forest management agencies collaborate in adopting these technologies? Yes, so to answer to both the questions, these technologies had to be adopted and been implemented by the local government with the help of some agency and with the cooperation of the rural area people also. So it is not a single person's job that I am developing this technology, I'll be implementing all those things, not at all. So it is the it should be a collaborative job. And at the same time, we can make the people of rural areas by developing this technology so that they can protect their forest, maybe some kind of a kind of particular plantation, if we can predict the possibility of forest of the fire in that particular region. Yes, the people in the rural areas must be benefited at a greater or at a large extent. But the thing is that the technology to be used by the rural people, then I think it is not to be completely used by the rural people, but it is obviously been implemented for the people of rural people also only. Yes, after the completion of the presentation, we will be sharing the PPT to the coordinator and particularly to join to sir, so that he can he'll be able to circulate to all of you. Any more questions?
Hello, am I
Yes,
audible?
please. Yes, yes.
Okay. Uh, First of all, congratulations to both of you. It's a very nice presentation. It's very intriguing and interesting. I'm curious to know, like, the data that you will be collecting to analyze or to say predict, they are like secondary data or primary data, as if as in you have said, like, data you have collected from NASA's Lark power project or so and so. So the data that you will collect in future, like you are going to implement this project after 1 or 2 years, right? So the data that will be used to collect, so to analyze, so they will be the secondary data or primary data, and I mean, like, on what kind of data you are dependent on, and is it cost effective or cost efficient? That's all I want to know. Thank you.
The
Yeah,
data we,
Saurabh. Yeah.
sir. The data we have collected, it is freely available in their website. So anybody can go there and download this data set. And another thing, to implement this, we want real-time data. So we have to collaborate with our agency to send the temperature and humidity data through APIs, and we will integrate in our system, and that also freely available. Anybody can access, because we want accurate data, so we prefer to go with government data, so that also freely available. So I don't think such costs are included in this project.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Like you are dependent on the data from the government websites, or that's it. Okay, thank you.
Could you hear me, sir? Jantu, sir?
Yes,
Hello.
please
Yes, yes,
carry on.
yes.
Yeah. Just I have some observation, no, just not question, because I am not the man of in the discipline of technology ICT. At first, a very nice and wonderful presentation I have seen in the slide. From data set, you have analyzed all the outputs by taking data 22nd year data, 2002 and
24,
2024.
yeah.
So 22nd years data is a big time. Just some of my observation, that is this is technical analysis. For in future, though I am learning, in future, if you add something, the analytical result like some pictures, some videos, then it will be more fruitful for audience. This is all about myself. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we will do in next.
Yeah, sure, sir, sure. And thank you for your valuable and wonderful suggestion. So, Jayantu sir, if there is no more queries, can you wrap it up?
Yes. There is some question in the chat box if you can follow. Otherwise, we can talk it.
Yeah, I think we have taken one question that is there in the chat box. I cannot see any further questions there.
No, right now there is one.
Just a minute. Oh, how long did it take to complete the task based on the proposed workflow? Thank you. Actually, sir, it is not the respect of time. We have taken the data from a long duration so that we can predict the thing very well. And to complete the task, first of all, we need to implement the pilot project. Then we have to compile that whether the collected data and the result that is being implemented by means of this technology is giving the correct output or not. Then we can say. So at this point, we cannot say, or we cannot pinpoint any particular time duration. Thank you. Yeah, sir, I think uh, no further queries in the chat box. Yeah,
Okay. And they
so
are looking for PPT, so you please share
PPT,
and I'll
yes,
share
we'll be
according.
sharing the PPTs.
Okay. So if you don't have any question, then let us conclude this session. And thank you, Jayanto, Dr. Jayanto
Yeah,
Pal,
thank you, sir, and thank you to Saurabh also
and
for sharing
yes,
the work.
to Gaurav also for sharing the thought. In fact, it
Thank
is
you, sir.
important when we talk about rural development. It is not only the change in income or some education, health, but other things are also important. Both the risk in that and for forest fire is a huge in that time of zoomias or the shifting cultivation and the zoom cultivation, and like that it is also spreading in northeast is a almost common feature, not but not that big way, but at least it is happening. And it also create a problem for the casualty, both the forest flora and fauna, forest animals as well as the human being, as it was mentioned. So this research or this study, maybe in the future it will be more helpful, as it is a pilot basis. It is running the findings and the technology and method. It is applied by Saurabh and Jayanto. It can be more useful in the other parts of the country as well as the globally. It can be. So this is very important when we are talking about the application of machine learning and application of AI, and the prediction is important. One of our colleague also, they are trying now. AI is helping in each and every way. How depth you can apply the AI method. Now they are coming the AI application in the field of prediction of the share market and other. So people are trying different ways. A few of our colleagues also talk about those that even how the AI are helping to in the field of agriculture, like detection of pests and control of pests, and also they are coming with other way detection of diseases. So how best you can apply, it's important. So these are few examples as they are giving. So AI has a vast area. So people are going as uh, Tanwar was talking about that we are not technically sound, or we are not the technical person. But the thing is, there are available tools with the support of the IT people, with the support of the technical person. It can be useful. In every field, it can be useful, and we have to see for that. It's not necessarily that everything we can understand, and we will develop the tools and techniques. But how they are preparing and their research, how we are going to apply in the society. So even each and every matter that I mean, nowadays maybe the paid or non-paid, the free version, numbers of AI tools are there in the market, available in the internet. I don't know how much we know, but it is really useful, and it is going to help a lot. So their research has given us one side that how machine learning and AI is helping to detection or can prevent. Even I don't know, people are talking about the Los Angeles and others, that it is devastating, and several times it is coming to Amazon forest and in any other part. So these kinds of tools can prevent those casualties and other. I'm sure the as these decade are coming to be the decade of artificial intelligence, as predicted by uh, World Economic Forum and other, and it is saying that if you don't know that AI, that you are nowhere. So, but how much we can, somebody was talking about in the rural areas, yeah, this is important. But the two things is there when we talk about the technology and adaptation of technology. It is the important that how technologically we are advanced. Similarly, it is also the cost. Even the first day, yesterday, it was discussing that when we are going to apply the AI, it is important the availability of the resources, proper resource, exact resource, what is there, what tool we should use. That's why we need some technical person, and also it is required in terms of rural people. Yeah, how it can be, the matter of concern is how it can be people centric, or the how with the low level of literacy, or the technical literacy, or the digital literacy, how we can use it more effectively. But I'm sure that slowly it will coming, because in the WhatsApp, the Meta is helping to write the messages. Similarly, the Facebook and other, the slowly it is coming automatically, whether you know or you don't know, but automatically it is pushing you. When you are making a PowerPoint presentation, something is coming in the Gemini is or the Copilot. They are going to it is coming that when Windows are coming, they are going to help you. So this may be something push, but it is also important as much as we can build the capacity of the rural people, or the uh, we can say as a user, how more training can be given to them. But it depends on particular. If this training, this course, the short duration course is not possible to cover all those things, we'll try to cover few hands-on training definitely as it's possible through online mode. It is not the classroom like Jayanto and other Dr. Jayanto and other. They used to deal with the student in the classroom. They used to develop the tools and they apply those things. But we'll try to cover few of the tools which is available in the market, which is available to use, which has multi-dimensional thing, so that if you learn one or two tools, then you can cover so many other things. So with this, thank you, Jayanto and Saurabh, to give the one example or citing your sharing your thought and research and outcome. And I'm sure in the coming future, this small pilot study can be helpful, and it will be industry driven. It can be linked with the people so that it can reach to the more areas, more cover more states, and it can save thousands of plants, flora and fauna, both the animals as well as the plants. So with this, thank you once again for this beautiful session. And as requested by the participant, we will share the PPTs in after this. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jayanto.
Sure, thank you, sir. And I'll be just mentioning one thing that it is when you talk about the rural development, it is we, the researcher, the academician, it is we, the industrialist, the government, and the most important stakeholders, the beneficiaries, should contribute equally and come forward for the development. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
sir. Should we leave?
You have completed the session. Now another session will start in the meeting.
Okay,
If
okay.
you can
Thank you.
stay, but the next class is also coming.
Okay, okay.
Hello. So after a short break, we will join the second session. Sir Hawk, are you there? Okay. Asmaul Hussain? Okay, you are here. Good morning, Asmual.
Morning.
Hey,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor Janti.
Yeah, I can hear you. Asman.
Okay, thank you.
So good morning. You're
Yeah, good
joining
morning.
from USA?
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
in
joining?
USA. Yeah,
Okay, welcome to our.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Thank you
so
very much. I'm looking forward. Yeah.
okay, and dear participant, now we are moving to the next session. Next session will be taken care by Asmal Hussain. He is just now joining from USA. He is working in the Tata Consultancy Services Limited, Peninsula, and he has received the Bachelor of Technology BTech degree in the Information Technology from the West Bengal University of Technology in 2008, and MS degree on the Information Technology, particular data analytics from the Western Governors University, USA. He is a seasoned data engineer with over 15 years of experience in the information technology field, currently working in Peninsula, USA based firm. His experience include big data framework such as PySpark and head of. Sorry, Mr. Hussain, we don't know though all these things. This is your term, but
Oh,
we
it's
are very
okay.
happy. Yeah, it's a very happy to invite you, and we are very lucky and glad to get you. And the topic is financial inclusion. How AI can help in the financial inclusion. In other way. I did my PhD on the microfinance and financial inclusion. Right now, I am also associated. You know that in the West Bengal Bandhan Bank as a board of director for that. So financial inclusion is they are covering huge number of rural women. And Dr. Rosie, are you here? Dr. Rosie from Assam, he is also working in the National Rural Livelihood Mission from the Assam Rural Livelihood Mission. But this is a one of the largest poverty alleviation program in the world. National Rural Livelihood Mission. Crores of rural women are involved, and their financial inclusion as a step towards poverty alleviation is going on, and to improvement of their uh, uh, livelihood, their lifestyle altogether. So financial inclusion, and most of the bankers and banks, they are also working on that. Today also we got a news that NABARD is working hard to reach to the more financial inclusion in the Jammu Kashmir itself. They have taken some innovative steps, and also Professor Dr. Anwar is there in Bangladesh also when he started. Professor Muhammad Yunus, who's that microfinance and the more way the financial inclusion started. So various ways how to make the financial inclusion. Now it is this financial inclusion through IT, and now we are getting through Hussein, we will get it. Hassan will talk about that, how AI is helping towards financial inclusion. So, ladies and gentlemen, which is very, very important topic when we talk about the rural development, the financial inclusion is treated as one of the backbone for rural development. And Hassan, I'm looking forward for your session. And obviously, I am one of the participants to learn this very, very important topic itself. Over to Hassan from USA.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you very much. So let me share my screen and we'll talk.
Please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we are getting.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. 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 So I hope everyone can hear me clearly.
Yes, yes, audible, visible.
Visible,
Please.
and everything is crisp and clear, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. So
First of all, thank you to the organizer for the invite, and thank you all for the attendees joining us from the various time zones. I think I don't know like whether it's somebody is from morning, evening, or noon. So in US it is morning here, and we're waiting for a massive snow to like this morning. So weather is different in different places, but our goal is same, that we want to contribute as a community, right? So in this topic, like AI for rural financial inclusion, so it is very close to my heart, but at the same time, you need to get some opportunity as well, right? So for many of us, I like a rural area is kind of giving a nostalgic connection, be it a childhood memory of the sense of simplicity, and we all some way related to the rural area. And being a technologist, being a like whether it doesn't matter whether you are a researcher, whether a student, or any other field. If you want to contribute on anything, then there is a lot of ways that we can contribute. The only thing that is matter to derive a better future or better growth for everyone, the number of tools that we can enhance is the education or the learning thing. So this area is a huge opportunity that we can implement the artificial intelligence. So there are a lot of things that we are talking about in last 2 years or 3 years. Everywhere you see, it's everyone talking about the artificial intelligence. So this area is huge, and it's almost impossible to cover in 1 hour, like a hot means the depth of the topic. So now I'm like, let's give some quick background about myself as the presenter, the facilitator already has been given a quick and good introduction about me, and that is what I would say, covering everything. Now, why I am so excited about this topic is basically I'm from Kolkata, originally from Kolkata, and my upbringing happened in rural areas, and the roots is already been there with Kolkata, Kolkata and rural area. So at the same time, I'm also very super enthusiastic about learning and getting new opportunities. And I finally believe in a power of continuous learning, and I consider myself a lifelong learner. If you see my office, then you will see like there are a lot of books, and I read every day at least 10 to 15 minutes. So that is about me. Now coming to the agenda of today's, there are a lot of things going to cover today, and I would like to know about there are a lot of people, like I'm seeing like 70, 80 people, and I've been hearing the last presentation from the Jayanto, and it was good. It was learning for me as well. So there are two things that I'm going to cover in whole in 1 hour presentation, and it may cross the 1 hour. I don't know, but I'll try to address as much things possible.
No problem. You can take your time. No problem.
Thank you. So in today's agenda, I want to cover in two parts, if I can segregate this or divide into the session. Part one is the concept. What is AI? So we talk a lot about the implementation part. We talk a lot about like a kind of a more of a superficial thing on a high level, that everyone is talking about AI. But what is AI? That is the concept that I want to give some more clarity. And then the part two, we'll talk about the implementation. Like we know in one way, what the term is, how the technology is, and then how we can implement into a real life problem. So on these two part, the next session, I'll take a quick survey about the demographics of who is attending this session, because that will help me to cover this session. Because sometimes what happens, like your audience, I don't want to do it just for the sake of presentation. I want to give time for the importance of value of my side as well as from your side equally. So I just don't want to like read out presentation and then and it's not helping anybody. So let's have a quick survey. Just type it your role, like whether if you're a student, then just type a student. If it is research, then just research, faculty, professional. Just type it so that I'll know the demographics, and then I'll go to the depth of those understanding where you may be beneficial. So let's say if you're like 70% student in this forum, then there is no need of going to the research paper right away, right? So I'll put in such a way that everyone can understand. And I am a very simple person. Like even though I have 16 years of IT experience, and we have a lot of complex projects, but the simple thing first, always I believe from day one, and that is how it works. So let's pause for 30 seconds and just type it your role, so that it will help me to cover this session for next 30-40 minutes or 50 minutes. Can you type it, everyone?
What happened?
No, I just asked for one survey just to understand the audience demographics, so that it will help me to cover up the session in depth or how much we can cover.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So most of the I can see that the demographics is widely wide part of it. So those of you who know, so let me share my screen. Okay, so thank you very much for sharing the data. And what I can do a sneak peek about the audience is mostly like different scholars, and there are few students, few of those faculty members. So there will be few things will be repetitive for you, but knowing that this is kind of a the majority of the people are from student background, so uh, I'll cover the basic thing about AI, uh, and and it will help those students to know much better in depth when they're going to work on the practical part of it. So for any kind of solutions we are thinking, or any kind of technology, the first thing that we are trying to do is what's the problem that we are going to solve. Like let's say we can do a lot of academic excellence, whether it's a postdoc, whether it's a PhD, whether it's a different thesis, but if we don't address any problem to solve, real life problem, then there is no use of writing those papers, right? I believe you all agree. So what we are trying to solve it here through AI. The first thing that is required to solve a problem is something like we have to understand the problem. So now in rural finance, what is the problem that we are facing today? There can be multiple approaches to find out, to tackle the problem. Now, in the context of rural areas, one of the most fundamental challenges is the resource availability. Whether it's access to technology, healthcare, education, or infrastructure, the scarcity of resources often holds back progress. In this picture, we are not suggesting that we can directly solve these problems ourselves, though I wish we could. But instead, with the power of technology, we can contribute to building an infrastructure that addresses the challenges effectively. By leveraging innovation and collaboration, we can create solutions that ensure these issues become things of the past. Whether it's the economy, whether it's a drought, whether it's an inequality in oil distribution, whether it's the child labor, or whether it's the poor infrastructure. Everything that directly or indirectly we can contribute some way to it. And how that is going to how we are going to do that. We are going to explain that in this session. Now, the first thing that AI that we say is, what is data? A few minutes ago, we did a quick survey, right, to understand the roles of everyone attending this session. From that exercise, you share some information with me, and I used to derive meaningful insights. Like, you shared some of the keywords to me, and then I got an meaningful insight about the audience demographics. So in simple terms, I collected some raw data from you, and by analyzing it, it turned into a valuable information. So you just typed it, I got it, and I just thought it, and then got some like a valuable insight, like who all are I'm talking about. There are 70+ people in this meeting. So I need to know like to whom we are talking, right? It's not a I don't know much about their background, but with some like 1 or 2 keywords, now I have some quite fair idea about this meeting. So that is basically, it's data is basically a number or a string, but by itself it doesn't have any meaning. But when it's collected and organized in meaningful ways, it is incredibly powerful. Let's say, take social media platform like Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever that every country has their own so like TikTok or Instagram. All this huge people are using, right? So what they do, they collect massive amounts of data from millions of users. After processing and analyzing this data, they derive insight that inform business decisions. So let's say, for example, if you want to buy a new thing, whether it's a new car, new clothes, and you are just like a given little bit of interest in those areas, then what the Facebook will do? The more you scroll, the Facebook page, then there will be a new advertisement, which is specifically to you. So let's say someone is looking for car in the Facebook page. When you're scrolling, then you will see a lot of cars, distributors, and all those information to you, so that you can click and then to go for those. So it's basically giving you more accessibility to those things which you need. Let's say if someone is asking for a different clothes, then they are getting their feed in that way. So it's called customer sentiment analysis. Customer sentiment analysis is basically giving you those things which you need, and how you're going to do it, that is a part of AI. Now I'm going to unfold few of the things that we are talking every day: machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Perplexity, X, and they recently launched in Grok. So a lot of things that there are a lot of buzzword, you know. But if we don't differentiate each of the word very carefully, then it will be very impossible to know the depth of each and every item. So over the past 2-3 years, we have witnessed a massive revolution in how the term artificial intelligence or AI is understood and accepted, right? So today, even a common person use the word AI with surprise familiarity. But let me clarify, AI didn't just appear out of nowhere. It has a long history. So back in 1950s, there are a lot of I think if we can recall back our initial development time, be it 80s or 90s, then we used to solve chess with computer, or with that time mobile was not there. But so those things, if you move one step, then in return computer move another step. So it's a part of AI as well in the background. So it is not something that it's just developed. It was there. Like in 90s, we have the fraud detection implemented, and then around 2000s, we have the natural language processing. So that I'll come more in detail of those words in later part of this presentation. Now this is the kind of a need of the hour, where there is a wind of flow of every item, whether it's a AI, or whether it's a science, whether it's a robotics process automation. All those information has either you adapt, or you learn, or you perish, or you move behind. So we don't have any option but to adapt or to evolve with the technology, and then grow out in such a way that we can use it for help each other. Now in this diagram, if you see on the top, like the major part, everything is so artificial intelligence is on the top, and it's covering everything. So why it is called artificial intelligence, that I'll come into later in this diagram. But let's understand what is AI. So AI is basically in there are 4 terms that is making artificial intelligence. So we say human intelligence, and then there is called artificial intelligence. So what is the difference, and why it is so need of our? So one thing is, like in human, we learn, we think, we communicate and act, right? So we learn something, and then we think, and then we say something, and then based on that, if it is required, then we act. So that is basically AI. So what is in core? AI is basically machines or computers that is programmed to think and make decisions like humans. Just like humans, we as I said, that we learn, think, and communicate and act. Machines are designed in those abilities. So when machine can do all these things like the processing data, make decision, execute tasks, that is called AI. In simple terms, anything machine related that can learn and think and communicate and act, it's AI. So like technologies like machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, GenAI, NLP, all are subset of artificial intelligence. So why then it is different terms, right? So that is then why it is called generative AI? Why it is called machine learning? So again, coming back to this topic, so it is basically that four things, right? The learn, think, communicate, and act. So whichever has the more weightage, that has more that like given a more like that particular point is given, let's say, if equally divided, learn, think, communicate, and act. So in machine learning, you can learn, right? But you cannot think much because you are working on the predefined data sets, and then the future and the result set is basically based on the predefined data set mostly. But in deep learning, it will teach you how to think. So between learn and think, machine learning can learn, but thinking power is less little. But in deep learning, you can learn and thinking equally. I hope it can make sense to all of you. Now in generative AI, is basically we're talking a lot about data in machine learning and deep learning. But in generative AI, it's try to give a communication part more weightage. So it can learn, it can think, it can more communicate. And it can act as well as a conversation. So humanized robot, right? So those things like so if you can understand each of the pillar, the learn, think, communicate, and act, that is getting stronger and stronger every day. So we'll go more clarity down the line in the presentation. But so this is a hot making the AI is very interesting, and the more that we are progressing, those four things are getting better and better. And it is not like every human has that superpower of understanding that four topic, right? Or four different pillars that everybody cannot learn, everybody cannot think, or think like wisely, or everyone think like the communication. So the same way the machine learning, deep learning, generative AI has their own strength and then has their own implementation. So we cannot fit every problem into a one solution, right? So think about that. So if you have a rainy season, then you can take the umbrella to go, right? Now, if you have like the sunny weather, then you cannot take a coat to go outside. So similarly, this machine learning, deep learning, generative has their own implementation. Now wait a minute. So is that RPA, the robotics process automation, is a part of the major revolution few years ago? Everybody is talking about the RPA, robotics process automation. So why are we now hearing so much about AI? Is it another gimmick, or is it another industrial thing? So everything that is revolutionized in a Western world, there could be a always a conspiracy theory, you know. It's a conspiracy theory. Now, it's whether it's a conspiracy theory or not. We are not going to go into detail in that area. Now, whether it's a gimmick, no. So it's a question. It's a part of a doubt, or it's a part of gimmick. I don't know. But when it comes to the capabilities and evolution, RPA is basically it's an automation of repetitive rule-based task. So robotics process automation, the system will not give you to think. It's basically you have a predefined step of task, you just execute it, and then it will implement it. But if any steps in between it's new, then it's not going to work. So it's like think about it, it's a virtual assistant. So it's just like follow some predefined instruction to complete a task, like transfer data between systems, or you are trying to print an invoice in your merchant shop. So while transformative in its own way, RPA doesn't involve decision making or intelligence. So think about it, like when it comes to the intelligence or decision making, RPA is not going to make such difference. So on the other hand, AI is basically beyond automation. So these two topics are totally like so RPA is you can execute tasks on a repetitive basis, and you can do much faster. But in AI, it can do faster. You can do repetitive things, but with a thought process. There might be a way that your predefined steps is not there. RPA will fail. But in AI, what will do? It can execute it can execute those tasks which are not there. Not there means like it is not there in their understanding. So let's say, like, think of it this way. RPA is like you are making a dish, like any food item you are making. So RPA is like a step-by-step instruction that you already fit in, and then you're making a dish. But AI is like a cook which can prepare new dishes every day. So what it needs as an input, you just need ingredients, and like it can experiment each and every day based on your test or based on your information. So is it something that we don't need RPA? The rise of IPA is not AI is not about replacing RPA. It's enhancing and complementing. It's a kind of a complement technology. So that is about RPA. Now, what is machine learning? So we talk about RPA, we talk about AI. Now, what is machine learning? So machine learning is basically a machine, as its name suggests, it's a machine, right? It's a machine learning or machine readable ways. So it's all begun with raw data, where you see images. Like if you see in my screen that there are apples, bananas, and mangoes. The data is unprocessed in the first stage. So if you see the input raw data in the first stage, so it's like like this. And the next step is the interpretation. How are we going to interpret it, like whether it's a apple, banana, or mango. So machine learning model algorithm. So it has the different characteristics, like how you interpret. If it's a red, and if it's like a kind of a round shape, and then you can identify it as an apple. So is based on the different characteristics, you are just putting a predefined interpretation algorithm, and then it will give you just uh, a high level information about that particular object. Now, when the algorithm processes the data, it extracts the features, and to identify each fruit. Now, where the real magic happens, the model training phase, the machine learning learn the input data, adjust itself to ensure it can recognize patterns correctly. So basically, what happened is every algorithm is a predefined, and the more the information that you will get, the more input data it will get, and it will give an output and in classification format. So how it can classify? So this training, this model training can accurately classify, and what it learned. In this case, the machine has become intelligent enough to make decisions just like a human would when look at the same fruits. So how are we going to learn from here? So machine learning is all about the transforming raw meaningless data into something valuable by teaching machine to interpret, process, and act on patterns. We are enabling them to solve real world problems, and it all starts with data. Now on this interpretation stage, we don't need training data set because you're just identify the object. And in this algorithm, we are trying to fit each and everything where how we're going to do it. Let's say if we want to do machine learning classification algorithm, then it will classify. So let's say in other case, you want to predict some values of any house. So then it will be a kind of a linear regression. So I don't want to go in detail at this moment or each and every machine learning thing, but I hope it is clear that the more raw data we have, the more we can interpret, and the more we can. So algorithm that is something more in detail, like how we're going to read it, and the same way how we're going to process the data. So all things are important in this stage, and then we finally get the output of the model. Now it's a deep learning. So I know it's sometimes it is getting very difficult to comprehend in a meeting or in a session in a quick time, but I'll try to make you understand it's possible. So now what is so machine learning is basically you have a input, as we know, and then we have some processing algorithms, and then you get the output. But what is deep learning? So deep learning is going beyond one step further. So deep learning, what will do, the object itself, let's say here is the octopus, right? So octopus, how do you know it's octopus? So how the deep learning, how the machine will know it's octopus? So octopus will be divided into different layers based on their characteristics. Let's say it will check different features, and then there are different hidden layers. So input layer and hidden layers. So hidden layers, what it does, these layers analyze and combine the input feature. For example, let's say one node might identify the blue color, like the blue color, and then another node detect the eyes, like this. Then another node focus on whether it's an animal. So all these information has a different meaning to identify octopus. And then finally the output layer brings everything together and say, oh, it's a blue octopus. So basically, what the hidden layer is doing here. So hidden layer is basically thinking each and every aspect of the octopus, how we can represent. And based on that, it is giving an output layer to understand it's an octopus. So whether it can be image, or whether it can be a object, or whether it can be a animal. So it is basically checking each and every pieces thoroughly to give a valuable insight. Now, what is the difference between this machine learning and deep learning then? Right? Now, machine learning to identify a car, right? So we have to know a typical characteristics of each car has its heart, like it has 4 tires, it has a body, and all this information, and we can classify and to tag a car in machine learning. Now in deep learning, so here you can see that a human or a particular third party is basically identifying that particular object and giving an input to a classification. But in deep learning, there is nobody. It can get all the classification. It can think and can do by itself, and then it can classify it's a car. So on the top, it's a machine learning where you need some human assistance to learn the model. But in deep learning, it may learn by itself. So feature extraction and classification is done separately in machine learning, but in deep learning, it is done together. So that's why it's so powerful. This machine, it's a machine learn by itself. Now generative AI. So I'll go another 5 minutes on the technology side, and then we'll talk about the real implementation, because this is very important. Now Gen AI, generative AI, is basically there are a lot of things involved in generative AI. We have a topic called large language model, LLM, and then we have NLP. So these two things together making a generative AI. Now the technique is the natural language processing, and what it does, it understands, generate, and transmit human-like text. So like we all use, I think, some point of time like a ChatGPT. So where you input some data or your needs, and then in an interactive way, then it can give the output. Right? So I don't want to go into Gen AI because this is something it's beyond our scope of this presentation. So I'll skip this. Now because mostly the solution is based on machine learning, so I'll go this cheat sheet. So most of the things that I took from this presentation is from a different source, because I don't want to have a reinventing the wheel kind of, because these are information already present in different areas. Now the important part is where I could get the quality data, right? So machine learning algorithms, we have a different algorithms in place. There are multiple algorithms. Now, how do I know which algorithm is like a fit into different things? So that's why we kept it in 4 parts based on the use case that we have. One is the supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and then the reinforcement learning, and the in-symbol learning algorithm. Now, what is supervised learning? Supervised learning is basically like you have already a data set where you know each and every predefined label, and from your raw data, the output will come. So let's say in your locality, there is some house is selling, and you know like 5 houses, their amount and everything, and then you want to know the 6th house you want to sell, right? So in that way, the linear regression will come into picture and then give you the value of the 6th. So basically, you already have the data. The more data that you will give, the more model, or the more the variety or more scenarios it will come, and then it will give you the output. Similarly, logistic regression is it's basically a classification thing. Let's say you all get emails, right? And in emails, like it can be not relevant to you, so it will go to trash, or it will go to a spam folder. So that is a part of logic regression. Like similarly, there are a lot of different machine learning algorithms that we can implement based on what we have in our use case, like what problems we are trying to solve. Now, the same unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is basically you will not give you a clear information about the data, which may not be the output based on the input, but you can have a clustering concept, or you can have a principal component analysis where you have a lot of variable and you want to like you want to do a exploratory analysis, like based on those columns which are not needed. So those are part of different machine learning algorithms. Now, XGBoost I'll come into later because it's too much technical. Now, this one I will come when the rural finance implementation is there. So I'll come back to this presentation 15. Now, how we're going to implement the technology part of it, Now, we talked a lot about data. So the first thing that we have to do is how we're going to storing the data. So in order to help those financial or rural finance problem statement, the first thing is like you have to collect the data. Right? So what data means, like be it a loan information in the financial area, whether it's any kind of fraud detection thing. The first thing that foremost is if you don't have any proper data, if you don't have any much information, then we cannot say anything about this person, right? Let's say, for example, if you're meeting a stranger, you'll just interact 1 or 2 minutes, then you'll not know about that person that much. But let's say if those persons are spending 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, then the more those persons spend each other, the more they will know, right? It's the same as data. So if you have like 2 records, you'll not know much about those data for anything. But if you have a billions of records, then you have more clarity of this data. So now how are we going to store it? So we have a different lake in terms of SQL, in terms of lake, in terms of JSON format. Then we can get the data. And then, so the data itself, as I said, like the data itself is not making any difference, but how we're going to do the justice of those data, that is more important. Like let's say, for example, every day, if you're collecting, let's say we are saving some amount of money every day. Now, like end of the month, we have to do something on those money to get a meaningful sense out of it, right? So let's say if every day in India, if it is you're saving 1 rupees, and then in US it is like $1, then end of the month it will be 30 or 31 rupees or dollars, right? So how we are going to so somehow we need to get that data. How to get that? Like we need to do summation, or you have to do sum. So basically, you have a billions of records, then you have to get something means out of it, and we need to process those data. So how are you going to process the data? So it's an important concept called Apache Spark. So Spark is basically an engine. Like think about it, it's a calculator. So if you're pressing like 1 plus 2, then it will give 3, right? In the same way, like a billions of record will be input into this engine. It's like you can say it's a SQL type architecture where you have multiple records, billions of records, and then it will process it and it will give you meaningful information. And on those meaningful information, you have a different machine learning algorithms. So XGBoost is basically a very efficient machine learning algorithm where you can implement the ML flow. Right. So ML flow is basically a model tracking logging mechanism, and it will help to it's basically interactive application. Think about like ML flow is basically a manager where it can train the model, where it can log, and it can give information about their accuracy. And then once it is done, then it will give you a real implementation. So in AI or in this technical implementation, one thing that we learned over the years that for a particular problem to solve, we don't need just one solution. No. So I can remind like one very very popular statement that winners don't do different things; they do the things differently. Why? Because we are taught about like in college or any school, we taught about like give a solution of any problem. But in real world or in current world, to get a good benefit, to get a good benefit or to understand the problem, it is not just like one solution. The more solution that you give to one problem, it will be a very effective way to understand like, okay, one problem, this solution, then give another solution, then give another solution. So what will happen? The more solution you give, the more polished version of it will come. So it may happen sometimes. You've seen in your project that the POC is working very good, the proof of concept, like because it has like, let's say 10 records or 15 records or 1,000 records. But when it comes to the implementation, the project is failing. Why? Because during POC phase, we have not thought about implementing the problem into a different solution. We thought like, okay, one solution is done, then we are good about POC. Now go ahead and implement the project. But if we tackle those problems into different solution, then what will happen? If one is failed, then I have another backup. So this is how we are going to solve problem. So basically, implementation wise, there is nothing like, no matter what the problem is, but if the problem is clear and if you have multiple solutions, that doesn't matter whether you are trying to solve in healthcare or whether it's a rural or whether it's a banking or insurance, we have the options to solve it. Now, as I said, like there are a lot of people who are working in this particular area. The most I talk to a lot of students, and then they say like, which language I should learn to learn AI or to learn the things. There are a lot of languages available in the market, and it's a very confusing, like which one to learn and which one to search for, right? So it is a Java, Scala, Python, Ruby. I hope everyone have at some point of time that have written their code, sometimes in C or C++. So in terms of data engineering, when it comes to different area, right? So if we collect a data or data different, like let's say we are collecting information and then put it into a place, and there are different tools in the market, like hundreds of thousands of tools, and it's open source market where you don't have any boundary. You can get as many you can. So Java is one language where it's a building blocks of every language, I believe. So Java Scala is almost the same thing, because Scala is basically a wrapper on top of Java. But when it comes to the data engineering or AI or any kind of this area field, Scala and Python it's my go-to language for everything. So if you want to think like let's learn one thing, nothing. I want to learn more. That is called Python. So whether it's ingesting data or collecting the information, store it, manage it, or process it, everything you can do in Python. So and for proof of concept, if you think like want to give a more interactive way, then R is the language. So, but at the same time, there are a lot of work going on C and C++, because those are very powerful language. But those are basically more of a deep learning, the self-driving cars, the autonomous driving. In that area, C and C++ science more. But Python is also Python, Java, Scala. All are equally important. But when it comes to if you want to know like the data engineering on a core, then Python is one of the language that is very powerful and is very efficient. Now, my part one is over. That is concept part of it. I don't know like how much I cover up in this talking. It's like not easy to understand. But do you have any question on part one? Only the technology part or understanding part? I don't know like how much I cover in those areas and how much benefit I can give. But that is the end of my part one. I just pause for a second and then take 1 or 2 questions.
Hello.
Yep.
Okay.
Please carry on.
My name is Professor Cordelia Beneve. I just want to thank you for this wonderful lecture. I like the way you started it. I like that survey to know where we are and how to start us off. And I must tell you, you went deep, like as if you're teaching kindergartens, and that seriously helped us, especially me, because it helped me to understand the rudiments of this AI. Now I can explain what Gen AI, deep learning, machine learning before I now come to AI. That foundation laid is what I need to fit in this course. And I thank you so much. I don't have question. I just want to commend you. Thank you so much.
No problem. It's always pleasure to share some information like which I know. I know like there are a lot of things and it's been overwhelmed for a lot of people, but and something is boring for a lot of people, but I had to do this. Okay, so we'll take the questions because there are a lot of things to cover, and then it's already I'm taking much time, so I'll take another 15-30 minutes to go on. Okay, so now. So now the real part of it, right? Like how, if you understand the first part of the presentation, like the concept part, then it will be easy to understand like how we are going to do the implementation part of it. So like the thing is, we understand the problem. Now we have the tool. That is we already discussed and as a part of concept, and then now with the tool and the problem, we can solve the real world situation. So in that way, and it's a very vast topic, like the state scoring, fraud detection, microfinance solution. It's itself a huge area to cover. I'll go a very like deep, high level to mid level. like how we're going to do it. So now the credit scoring, right? So in an ideal world, in the image, if you say in an ideal world, like mostly the Western countries like US, UK, or different where the case scoring is there for a long time. If you see this diagram, right, where and it's like I'm saying like based on the ideal situation, what it's supposed to be, not like what we are challenging, what we are doing here. So you, as an applicant, you apply for a loan, and then there is a AI-based system. And when you say AI-based system, that means it's basically a automatic based on some information on your loan. Then it gives some score, and then based on the score, it has some influencing credit score, like how you are going to like what is the credit score you will get based on this income, your credit history, like how you are taking the lending or how you are doing the payment. Let's say in your utility bills, your car payment and everything, and how you're doing the how much debt you have, how much credit you're using, how you do the payment and everything, and based on that you will get the score. So in US you have a different credit facilities where they're taking all this information, Equifax and all those companies are taking care of the score, and it's giving you like a score like 700, 750, 800, those things. And when I go to any particular shop, then they do the inquiry to the system and say like, okay, so what is, like, for example, like you are going to buy a car which has like a $30,000 like its value, and then you cannot, let's say one of the component is your loan, like you can give 80% loan. Now what is driving this credit score? So out of 80% loan that you're taking, then some of them, then they will charge the interest, right? And that interest is tier. They have the tiers concept, like okay, if you have a credit score like 500, then your interest will be 10%. If it is a credit score is 600, then interest will be 8%. So you see, like it's basically inversely proportional, like, or like the more the credit score you will have, the less interest rate you have to give. So this is kind of an ideal scenario where we do the credit scoring in mostly the advanced, because getting the data is very easy in most of the advanced countries, right? Because you have everything computerized, people have the awareness and get the data, and everything is like a kind of put it into place. Now, then why it is very challenging in rural area? Everything is like not like, there should be some challenge in rural area, right? Why it is so complex? Now these are the challenges that we have in rural area. So in an ideal scenario where credit scoring works well in the places where there is a systematic way, right? People have a clear understanding and how the system works, and this is how they get the data in the real world. But in rural area, the first thing is the data. That is the data called disparity, where you have a multiple, like no, it's not a homogeneous, but homogeneous means like a similar kind of data. But when it comes to heterogeneous, that means the data is a different format, because a lot of people don't do jobs, regular jobs. They depend on different things. They don't.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Please carry on. Please carry on.
Okay. And because they have the different financial behavior, their income pattern is different, their spending habits are different. Their saving culture is different. And also the data sensitive, because most of the people they are not aware. They like they don't know the concept. That's why they are not aware. Like because they, and also like a lot of people collecting a lot of information and then doing the violation in the privacy. And on top of that, there is a transparent issues. So and the income is also not irregular, because they don't do a job, most of the people. And then there are a lot of urban trained AI bias, because most of the data that we take and most of the model that we created for doing the case history check, those data are the data which are available at this point of time. That is urban driven, city driven. So we don't know the pain that what the rural area is going through, right? And also there is a trust issues. Why I should be giving you the data? Because they will do something about us, because they don't know. And also there is a diversity, data security, privacy issues that are already discussed. So together, this is kind of giving a huge problem in terms of getting the credit score. Because though if we implement those things without much knowing rural area, then we cannot be building a justifiable score to each and every person. So now, how we are going to give you like how we can overcome these challenges, right? Now in like modern world, or in a kind of a city kind of world, where your salary is basically a one thing, where you can come in as an input, right? And it is fixed, and it is how much you are spending. That is also almost like a pretty a good way to justify, like, okay, one person is earning, and their debit and credit, and based on that they can do some calculation each and every month. And mostly 80%, 90% of the time in urban area, those numbers are consistent. But in rural area, those are pretty different, because a lot of people that don't do jobs, and they don't have any like a fixed, not fixed, but planned way of spending. So how we do the leverage like in other way to collect the data? So we have the alternative data. So we can get the alternative data from each and every person, like let's say they're doing the utility bills payments, right? Because now every house has their own electric, so we can see that, okay, how much, like whether they are paying in advance or they are just getting default every time. So those kind of like information we can access, and then we can develop our own model, which is basically based on rural to context to rural. Based on the agriculture cycle, we can see the seasonal income. And also we can build the infrastructure for digital infrastructure, like we can have internet connectivity to each and every places, remote places. That is very important, because the internet is only giving you those like to reachability to each and every person, and can get the data. Now everybody has the remote, right? Remote means mobile. So mobile can give those information as much as possible. And so we can also have the digital assets, digital wallets, and then we have give a clear understanding about the awareness each and every of people knows, and we can build a different smaller size kiosk, like where a knowledgeable person will be there to give some more valuable input, so that they will not have that fear of having something Like what benefit I will get, or what are the harm that these people are going to give to us. So in that way, we can work with government, NGOs, and different cooperative to ensure that they understand what we're trying to build. And obviously, there's a privacy or the fairness. So the more the challenge that we are facing today in different of the models are basically bias. So bias is basically what happened when let's say, for example, like based on the situation, everybody's situation is a little different, right? For a billionaire, like $1,000 or rupees is not making any difference. But those people who are very, very poor, for them are like 1,000 rupees or dollars, like or whichever currency that you are, is making a huge difference. So it's called bias. Like we are not understanding the situation and giving and try to help people. So this bias AI is most of the challenging, and is going to be challenged in near future. Yeah, my flowchart is becoming a little squeezed, but so how we are going to build this state scoring thing? The first thing that is very important is data collection, like how much variety of data that you are collecting, whether it's from mobile data, whether from different utility bills, gas bills, electricity bills, water bill, and then agriculture data, like how much seeds you are money spending on, how much water you are giving to the agricultural land, and there are different insects, like all this information that you are collecting, and then you are processing the data. So processing means like basically you're getting little meaningful out of it, or from this data. And then in machine learning, we have a ratio where you can train the model and test the model. So mostly it is 70-30 or 80-20%. So if you have, let's say, 100% like information you're getting from here, and then you train the model with 80% data, and then test it by rest of the 20%, where the 20% data, that model is not being trained. So XGBoost, now coming to this the algorithm, like or this model XGBoost. So XGBoost is basically let's go back a little bit about the one that we talked here. I said, so XGBoost, think about this term, like it's a model, machine learning model, where, and it's basically very powerful. Why it is powerful? So when it comes to the structured data, it's very powerful. So what is structured data? So structured data means, like, think about the table where you have a name, where you have a age, or you have an income. So those things are called structured data. Like, because in name somebody will put always the name. When it comes to the salary, somebody will always put the salary. But when it comes to unstructured data means like there's no structure of it. You can have an image in forms of like on place, and you can have like a text, or you can have a video. So those are unstructured data. Like there is no predefined format. Okay. And then XGBoost has it can do the missing data very well. So sometimes, let's say somebody's salary is missing. So how can I fit it there? Then we can have a mean data from all the people who have the salary is available. And it can have the cache awareness. So cache awareness, basically it has the computing power is very at first, and then it can learn the model by itself. So because of the time that I'm already running out of time, so I don't want to go more in detail. But now I believe, like you know that XGBoost is kind of a model training. So it can be implemented into both the ways, both for classification and both for regression. As I said earlier, that regression is basically for a numeric information like the amount or the any kind of integer or continuous information or discrete information. But whereas it can have the classification also, where it can say different binary event like yes or no, or kind of a uh, like you can classify in both the ways, like true or false, those ways. But because of this case scoring is a uh, um, numeric term where you have to give a numbers, so that we can use the XGBoost linear model, and then based on that we can implement and we can have different precisions or we can have accuracy. So also when it comes to the machine learning accuracy, it's basically you are trying to predict, right? So accuracy is basically the total number of prediction you are giving and how much you are correctly predicting. So let's say you are doing head and toss, so head and tail toss. So at that time, like you are flipping the coin 10 times. So to get accuracy 10 times, it will be like the total number of predictions, and then you are correctly predicting, let's say 7 times or 8 times. There's 7 by 10 or 8 by 10, it will be like 70% or 80% accuracy. So that is that, and there is a lot of like accuracy parameters that you can. AUC is one of the very popular term for accuracy score, area under curve, and then we can have a multiple like retaining model, and you can use your property model to boost. Let's say you from this model you get a 70% accuracy, and 70% accuracy in industry is not good. You cannot have that much like a low accuracy. So to from the XGBoost you can get like generally it get like more than 80%, but on our property model we can bump up those 80% into 95%, 96% based on our own understanding, because nobody knows it's kind of more of a hidden model, right? So nobody knows like how it works behind the like inside things. Okay, so now the next topic is the fraud detection. So fraud detection is basically we all know what fraud is, right? I don't have to explain this. It's basically a scam. So in financial term, it's basically you are doing some fake transactions. So in AI, we can quickly identify this pattern, like the fake transaction pattern, and basically whether it's a normal behavior or it's an abnormal behavior, that we can figure it out from different fraud detection technique. And it's basically across every industry. It's a finance industry, government, healthcare, insurance, everywhere there's a fraud. And it's going to be increased. The more that things will be in future, machine things, the more challenging it will be. So whether it's application fraud, card fraud, internet fraud, we have oftentimes that we hear, right? Somebody has stolen the money or somebody has done some asking for some password or some PIN code, and then they take the money from their bank. So those kind of fraud is there. So the two ways that we can tackle this problem, and it's been upbringing. It's like it's nowhere going to stop because it's day by day it's going. This stat is showing the alarming the graph, right? It keep on growing. How are we going to solve the problem? So the machine learning is another way, and it's like we in our bank, like where I work, we are implementing a model. So I don't want to go in detail of this. So this is the research article I published, and I can show whenever the time permits. So this basically when you do the credit card for transaction, sometimes what happens, like in US, mostly these things have happened, and it happened to me last year, that my card is, I'm sitting in one place, and the same card, physical card getting swiped in a place like a thousands miles away. How is it possible? Right? And it's keep on happening every day. And I didn't realize until like after a month there is a huge bill. So how are we going to do it? So if the machine learning algorithm has been like correctly been implemented, then this would have been much easier. So how are we going to do it? So we have to find out the different characteristics of how my character is, how much I am traveling, how much like a let's say for example, while putting a gas or petrol in my car, what card I am using, whether it's a physical card. If there is no physical card, then there will be a more valid way of identifying, like whether the person is itself there or somebody else. It is almost impossible to find each and every. You also have to see, like, we are not putting any inconvenience to those people. So I may share this like my article for the sake of time. Let's but the fraud is detection is basically you have to find out a classification thing, like you have to give a decision in a microsecond, right? So when you swipe the card, then you have to in the back end, it will see all the history, all the model information, and then give you a insight. So how are we going to do it? The same model, XGBoost. So XGBoost, as I said, like it has the two different type. One is the linear one, the regression one, and as there is the classification one. So the for decision we have to implement the classification one, which will give you the decisions like yes or no, whether it's a fraud detected or it's a fraud not detected. Now the last topic I have is the microfinance, like how. So the microfinance. So what is microfinance? It's a very so it's basically a way to provide small loans, right, and financial service to people who don't have access to traditional banks. It's going to help the low-income people, right, low-income communities, where they want to start a small business or pay for the education or improve their livelihoods. So the low amounts mostly in microfinance are small, and then they become flexible. The problem with I'll come to the problem later, but these are the things that we can do in microfinance, like the microcredit. We can do loans, we can do insurance. So in simple terms, it's basically a empowerment, right? It's basically empowering people to build a better life. So even though if they don't have a lot of money, so that is the goal that we want to achieve in microfinance. Yeah. So that is why we need this concept, right? We have a lot of availability, abundance for to get the finance, and then it is transformative because we are giving access to different financial resources and all inclusive. Like we are not like try to differentiate poor, like comparative poor or rich within the rural area. So we are trying to help each other, and then it's giving a socio-economic status, and then it's sustainable because it's a cycle, right? So somebody is getting help in education, and then healthcare, and the whole infrastructure is getting built, and then it's all inclusive. So together, this principle make microfinance a powerful tool. It's required a financial inclusion, and people to need to think to unlock their potential and contribute to the communities. True. I'll take another 7-8 minutes and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so what is the challenge that we are facing now? Like the concept is very helpful, right? That there is already a place, like in decades and decades, um, like this microfinance is working. Then why it is not help to alleviate to remove the poverty or to like still yes, with the targeted progress, rural area is also progressing, but still it is not significantly improving or significantly progressing, right? Or what is the root cause, like the very basic thing the challenge that we are facing here? One thing is the funding is not there. So the amount of those are MFIs, the microfinance institute, they're giving, that is not going to make any much difference to those people. Their need is like 100%, then they're getting 10% or 15%. So there is a limited access of funding, and there is an operational inefficiency because a lot of things are human driven. And then also the literacy is one of the things. The financial literacy is not there, because they take the loan, but they are utilizing the loans in different, like not the way they are asking for the loan. Let's say you are taking the loan for the agriculture purpose, but you are taking and getting the money and then using it elsewhere, because they don't have any financial literacy, and there is no mechanism to track those. And obviously the vulnerability, because those there are a lot of droughts, crop failures, and market downturn. Those impact hugely in the rural area, and we don't have any and mostly those it's institute, right? Institute run by its profit and loss, mostly this finance side. So if the loan is not getting recovered, then what will happen? The more the vulnerable or the more issues it will come, it will be difficult to function. And staff capacity is also one of the things that is required, because if somebody knows, then only they can transfer those knowledge to other people, right? So if doesn't know, then it will be very difficult. So all these things cannot run by assumptions a lot. You can do assume the things, but end of the day, the more transparency, more understanding, more awareness it will come, the better it will help to function those institutes. And obviously, the market is saturated, right? The competition is a huge. So eventually, what will happen? Even they start with those institute to help other, then it's becoming a running like business machine kind of. So it's not becoming a microfinance institute, but it's becoming a like profit and loss institute like any other bank. So these are different challenges that we have. So the basic nature of this challenge is like how we're going to help in this case. So as you said, like the credit scoring is one of the things that we discussed, right, in the first topic. The first thing that we have to go and make it more not a human centric, but more of a automated way to collect the data, and we have to find out a different alternative way to score the credits or credibility of those people who are seeking for microfinance help. Like we have, as I said, like the utility payments is one of the ways that we can do it, because nowadays rural areas, I think those basic needs or basic information is always available for each and every people. Like as I said, gas, water, electric, all those bills, based on the, and we can get a lot of valuable information out of it, like based on the spending. So if you are let's say spending the average is that much, and then you are substantially lowering your electric bill, that means like you're pretty like in economically you are not that much strong that you are spending a lot of low electric bills. So in that way you can find a insight that your capacity also it can be driven by all those simple basic data. Those data structures can give you more insight about your economic status. Economic status in the sense like so in that way there can be a analogy like how much loan you can afford and how much loan you can be given and how can you can do the repayment, right? So those behavioral insights you can get a lot by analyzing the simple information. And obviously we can have a fraud. So there are a lot of things, a lot of times happen that you don't need a loan, but you are applying for loan. So you have to build a fraud detection system, and then how real-time monitoring is also a thing. So real-time monitoring you can do a lot, like in previous meeting I was joining, like previous session. Then other person like very important topic as like during the railroad crossing, a lot of like animals crosses the road and then it dies because we don't have any mechanism. And the solution that we can do the real-time monitoring, right? Like we say that thermal thing, and then we have different solution for it. Only thing is like we need to infrastructure. We cannot just put it there, right? Just for monitoring. But somebody is monitoring and somebody is taking action. And all those things can be automated with the proper infrastructure point and with the help of everyone. And then operation efficiency is required. We in this world we're too much dependent on human for knowledge or for information. So the more it will be so for example, like if we talk to the customer service, right, then each and every people will have the different answer. Then we get puzzled, like one person said this, one person said others. So in that way we can have a virtual assistant or chat box, so that information whatever they are sharing, it will have more clarity and it will be a uniform. Now, one of the things that is required, that how we're going to give the personalized version of it, right? The loan offerings cannot be same for each and every person. Based on whatever the information that I said, we can collect the data, we can process it, and we can give a score like based on their income, and based on their expenditure, we can give another score, and then based on that we can have a financial product recommendation. And this is very important, like the tip of everything, the literacy, like how we can use these different powerful tools that is readily available. And then obviously the predictive analytics. The predictive analytics is itself a different chapter. So it's basically a one kind of like a regression or mechanism where you can predict the future in the sense, let's say you got the loan, and then based on your history, payment history, based on your income, based on your spending and everything, I can predict like whether you can next month you can default to pay the loan or you can pay the loan. So this is a part of the predictive analytics. And also we have to give more infrastructure access to remote areas. Like we can have a satellite data. Now Starlink is one of the things that we is one thing available in a lot of places where the internet is not there. You can get the internet. So those things are developing. This will help a lot. And then you can give the decision-making capabilities. So now a lot of things happen. The decision-making happens in rural finance is based on bias, their own understanding, their own making assumptions. So like for example, in bank, the manager is basically taking the decisions based on their biasness, right? Based on the let's say one person has um, like gone into the bank for loan, which is like a clothing, well suited. But at the same time, like there is a person who is from farmer background, they are not that much well suited. So the manager is taking the biased decision based on their appearance. But the decision should be based on the data-driven thing, based on their like last 5 months, last 5 years, last 10 years data. The more data that will get, it will be much more fair practice that we can develop. And then the things is the measurement, like impact. How we're going to on this process, how we're going to do the measurement? Like it's a feedback, continuous feedbacks, right? Continuous loops. That how we want to improve ourselves, and we should get the feedback and then try to improve the things. The same way applies to the model, defined machine learning model. So it is not that it's an impossible thing to implement the AI, and it's already happening. That's a good thing. These are the developing stories that is happening across the globe. So in Indonesia, we have a BRI financial services. They already I have gone through quite bit of research on this bank, and they are doing pretty good. The more it will be like a not a human centric, but a process centric thing. It will help each and every people who are in need. We have this FINCA, which is basically a foundation for international community assistance, and they have like a pretty good reach globally. 20 countries they are working, and they are trying to help undeserved candidates. And we have this Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, and then there is an in India, DFIL. So they are working on continuous improvement. The problem is like whenever there is a potential, there is a huge potential in every area. But the intention, if we can make it clear to help people, then there is a way to succeed. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is a surreal happiness in solving real life problems. Similarly, there's once a debate about accepting science, just as there is now about embracing artificial intelligence. But the world would not stop, and it is a responsibility to move with the flow and make everyone's life better day by day. When implemented correctly, AI can be a game changer. It can bring education to remote areas, raise awareness, and empower individuals. This in turn can improve livelihoods and earnings, contributing to nation building and give a bright future to everyone. Where we can have everyone who goes to school, infrastructure can be a top notch, economy will be always in upwards, equality, and there will be a sunshine on each and every aspect of our life. So in that way, I want to finish my presentation. If you have any question, I know like I took a long time. Because there are a lot of things to cover, and I want to go very deep each and every item. If you have any further question, I know you have. Reach out to me in LinkedIn. I'm pretty active in LinkedIn. You can message me for any question. Thank you very much, and hope you got something from this presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know like how much.
No, it's
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
It's a learning thing. So there are a few questions in the chat, and you can stop to sharing of the presentation now.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, you can come on your video if possible.
Okay. Yeah.
So that people can see you that live. Okay, that's great. Okay, so there are a few questions for you in the chat box. People have a lot of it because the subject itself is a very interesting and very important too, and application that even BRI I used to teach my department and my course curriculum and as a microfinance, but that they are also using the AI tool. It's very nice.
Okay. So one question I got is data privacy. How do you ensure data privacy and security in rural areas where AI systems are deployed? See, data privacy is one of the things on your own. In bank, we face a lot of challenges. So it's lot depends on the intention of the organization. You know, like what happened basically. Let's give an example. Like my daughter, who is a 7th grader, and then I enrolled her in a institute, like online learning institute, where I gave my phone number and email ID and asked them to make it confidential. Now, since the day one that I gave the information, and then keep on getting calls in different organizations. So when you're collecting the data, it is very important, like how, as an organization, how we are going to protect it. So there are different tools available. So for example, like let's say a few days back in Meta, Facebook, there is a law enforcement going on because they are trying to steal the data from Snapchat, and it came out in public. And there's a part of agreement that they can get the data from Snapchat. So it is not like a big organization. There is ethical issues going on in whole world, and it's really pathetic. Like in one way, we are trying to help each other, but at the back end, there's some agenda, you know. So and mostly the capitalist country has like a kind of, there's a huge competition, like to earn money. So I know it's a really a concerning area where we are very much vulnerable on
Hassan, are you there?
Sorry, I got disconnected. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
What I was saying is like the data security. So what we can do is we can save the data. We can save the data at rest. So there is an important concept called tokenization, data deconization. So where you can do the encryption, decryption methodology, so that nobody can comprehend the data what they're sitting when there is a access issue. So we in bank or very sensitive places, we follow this approach, and I hope that will be the ultimate solution. We like nobody can, even if somebody can see the data, then they cannot comprehend or can understand. Let's say my name Asmaul, then when data is storing into a table or any places, the Asmaul will be like something XYZ or something like that, so that they don't know like whose data I'm saying. Mostly the PII data, where you can identify this person like email ID, or the social security number, or the Aadhaar number, or which anything you can uniquely identify any person. That person has to be tokenized or stored in such a way that very less people, less person who has the authorized access can access those data. So I hope I answered your question. Okay, so my next thing is, are there, okay, 1 second. So one question I have. On a vulnerability context, are there risks of bias in AI system that might expose vulnerable populations? Yes, that is very much important. And yes, there is a chance. So the vulnerability is always the case in AI, where there is part of bias. Now the thing is, whenever you are owning something, whenever you are creating something, right, in a model, your knowledge, you're gathering data not from globally. You are gathering data. So let's say I'm in US, so my most of the theories or most of the research will be based on US data. This model we cannot implement in a place where the economic situation or any other situation where I'm working cannot be apple-to-apple comparison to any other country, right? So in that case, the risks of biasness is huge. The first and foremost thing is like the model biasness that we have to improve. If and based on those places, that is very much important, and it's a purely vulnerable. I can say that there is a huge chances, but at the same time, it is not like a it's not going to impact the result out of it, but we have to consider that piece very carefully. Is blockchain is used in those purposes and how? Blockchain is not in my expertise. Sorry, means I cannot say that much. I mostly work in machine learning areas. Blockchain is a totally different concept. Blockchain is basically, as per my understanding, is basically useful very much for identity, like financial areas. It's very useful where there is a possibility of corruption or tracking mechanism. In that way, blockchain can be used, but I believe there is definitely an opportunity to help in rural area. So, but all these technologies are pretty based on the data. Like the data is basically a basic foundation. The more useful way we can store the data, that will be kind of a foundation. Think about it, it's a foundation of any home. The way that we gather the data, it's helpful. In one way, you can think like, why today's world, this Twitter, Facebook, and then we have different social media accounts, YouTube. Why it is free? Because all these organizations are taking data and keeping it and understanding those data, and can in other way they are going to commercialize those information in such a way that they can charge you. So data is very important, and data is the foundation block. If you can collect the quality of data, it can be helpful for anything, be it blockchain or be it AI or whatever technology they are going to get. The basic thing is never going to change. If the quality of data is good, any technology you can use to solve any problem. The only thing is we have to understand the use case and also the intention. So intention is good, then any technology doesn't matter. But when the intention is not good, then the problem is not with the technology, but with the human, whoever is doing it, their interaction, their intention, and their purpose. If there is a hidden agenda, then nobody can help anyone. So that is how the current world is going through. but with real purpose, we can definitely make a difference. Okay. Everyone is familiar. Next question. Everyone is familiar with the vicious circle of poverty. How can we break down the vicious circle of microfinance, and how AI help financial institution management to provide distribution of financial rural pay user? Okay. Yeah, this is a very good question. So the vicious cycle of microfinance is basically, yes, I do understand that it's in cycle never going to end, because um, the the thing that is very much important, uh, there is a different, it's a community driven topic, right? Nobody like one person can do the difference. Yes, they can make the impactful contribution, but at the same time we have to see also the timing, like how fast we can do those implementation. So that cannot happen like in one organization in hand. We need to look at the infrastructure, how to build those. We have to build those places where this reachability is there, like the resources, different resources, and also we need to see the government plan or spending, or their like how much they're trying to help. So all these three pillars, or three different areas, can break down this circuit for sure. At the same time, we always say people that when nobody is helping, then help yourself. If we don't understand how the world is going through and cannot upgrade ourselves with proper knowledge, because being a poor is not a problem. You can be, you can by birth can be a poor, but dying a poor is a problem, because you have every tools available in this world. Internet is almost free. You can even get a book, and then can read every day and find your own solution. So I would say for this kind of thing, whoever is in an impact state, like take your own steps, and then try to help others. You cannot just like stand there and then can help and get help from different organizations. So in a rural area, like the leadership in rural places with the small NGOs can definitely break this cycle. Yeah. Okay, so I think I get my last question. Yeah.
Hassan, yeah, because a lot of they have so many questions, and which is not that much relevant or related to that, because it's a topic. It's a total 16 session, 8 days journey. That every question cannot be put in one session and you can get the answer. So what Hassan already mentioned, that financial inclusion and I mean one example, but how the basic thing is, it's a very the first session was excellent at par, because that gave a fair idea. Even a lot of conception and misconception related to AI was there, and these things. And the second part obviously that you have covered the example of financial inclusion, which cover a lot of things starting from the fraud, as well as the scores, as well as the channels, and so many things. And so how AI can generate all these things. Now there are some other questions are coming, which is maybe we can cover in other session itself, because how media and AI can lead to all this. Not, yeah. Even sometimes the Anwar was asking regarding the vicious cycle, how to break, and this. So it's the basic things of AI, how they are managing is the information. Even you have to understand this is artificial intelligence, not the intelligence. But above all, that's how human being is. Until and unless you can make a proper command, until unless you apply those things, nothing will happen. So a vicious cycle of poverty, it started even, and a lot of background was there. Even as mentioned, from Bangladesh, and before that also, even you will be surprised that Rabindranath Tagore was started the first microcredit concept as a Calligram Kidney Bank. So initiative, as Dr. Hassan told, the initiative, the individual initiative, the innovation in this required. So these are we can't cover within a session, within an hour, and it took more than 16 years and 15 years to understand and work in the data management and data thing. And he is trying to explain within 1 hour. It's not possible, but it is a very, very interesting and a very informative session indeed, and we learned. Even for me also, I from the very there are some others issues were there, but from the beginning to the end, I was listening you carefully. All these sessions, I mean, the information, your style of presentation was excellent, and thank you for joining us. And people, as usual, before even completion of presentation, they are looking for the PPTs. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
be
I'll
happy.
share.
Yeah, if we'll share the PPT, then we'll make it. So you can share to Abhishek also, as Abhishek is touch with you, and accordingly. And thank you once again. We have started this online short duration courses. I will be happy to inform you that Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development last 3 years. We have developed this forum as a platform. So now we have reached more than 130 countries plus 130 plus countries, and also so many country directors and other. And you are there, I mean, from West Bengal, you are there in USA, and also the GFSRT also, but also in Bolpur Shanti Niketan, and Abhishek is from very beginning there. And I will come and discuss with you in future also any these kinds of short duration courses, if you can design maybe some specifically the AI for this particular client group, like research AI for some other thing, more specialized kinds of thing, or whether we can launch any short duration course, that will be good. And few of our participant, like one participant was asking that you will be the right person because they are handling crores of data, or self-help group members. You know that self SHG members and other throughout India, they are handling. So how AI can manage this big data kinds of thing, and to take the proper decision, and foster the development of rural women, particularly to improve their livelihood. So that they are very challenging. So we got some insight from your presentation. Thank you very much, and be in touch with us. And if you have any final comment, not taking question, but you have any final, I'm very happy to.
No, it's like it's been a long time that the presentation I gave like in my office on my topic. This is like little bit a very interesting topic, and you generally I don't go anywhere unprepared. It took me a week to understand those research and find out this presentation like I did from scratch. So it's very interesting and happy to contribute in any way that was because I also grew up in such a way that there are a lot of seniors, my teachers, my professors help me to understand my profile. So I always help people whenever there is a need, but there is a time constraint. But definitely, if there is any time available, then I'll help you anyway. Like, and it's a two ways. Like sometimes I also need from research perspective, even though I work in professional way, I don't need those, but it's my interest in the topic. So thank you
No,
for
no.
invite.
Yeah,
It's really helpful.
even sometimes I obviously I'll tell Abhishek to be in touch with. Abhishek was working in the same in our university, Tripura University. Together we were working and sharing the even the quarters, and also the. I will come to you later part,
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
together how I mean we can also develop our platform better way, more catchy, our website as well as the learning platform, so that we can reach more way. Nowadays, AI can help on different way to reach more people. Say, for example, these course, we mail manually and through LinkedIn, and those we made that. But now AI also helping to towards reach to people, more people. So I will come again later part, so that we can also learn and apply it better way to for our fostering our own organization and this thing. So thank you very much. Now it is some time to say you goodbye. And though it's a good morning, you can take your very quick breakfast, and then thank you so much. Thank you once.
Thank you all. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.